Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. I'm about to do something on this channel that I've never done before. At the least, this will be entertaining, but it should be educational as well. I found an article I completely 100% do not agree with, talking about why gold is a better investment than silver. Now, you guys know my name is Silver Slayer, not Gold Slayer. I see a lot more opportunity and potential with silver, but to each his own, right? So I tried to give this article the benefit of the doubt, but as I was starting to read it, it was obvious what's going on here. This article is messed up. They are leaving out information, not sharing context behind what they're saying, and trying to adjust the reader's opinion to gold instead of silver. Now, you can see that this article is written from Financial Express, which they probably don't even really understand the whole concept of precious metals because they're more investing into stocks and bonds, etc. Now, you know that when you're investing into these things that are pegged to the US dollar, you're contradicting yourself. And you can see the article starts off to say, you know, that they're talking about gold ETFs and gold mutual funds and, you know, digital gold and sovereign gold banks. So right off rip, you can see that they're not really getting the bigger picture. If you invest into the physical precious metal, you are in complete control of your wealth. Investing into the ETF side of it is literally missing the whole point of investing into gold and silver, right? So let's just keep going and see where this goes on to. So he goes on to say that the precious metal space is definitely dazzling. Prices of gold and silver have appreciated by 32 and 43%. So he does admit that silver has outperformed gold, and even says in the recent run-up, investors now want to know which of the two is going to do better moving forwards. So this part, it literally does not make sense. Listen to this. He says, while silver is more accessible given that it's less expensive and could have good upside potential in the short term, given the momentum of speculative demand and supply disruptions, gold is the better investment option. So literally just tells you 5 different reasons why silver is a better investment, but at the end just slaps on gold as the better investment option. All of those things he just said before gold is a better investment option are telling you why silver is a better investment option. So what is he trying to get at this? It just doesn't make sense, right? There's a lot of question, there's a lot of context that needs to be talked about, but he's just throwing sentences together. That does not make sense, right? It really doesn't. So the whole point about this is, if someone was reading this, especially as a new stacker, and they had questions or were trying to figure out what's the better investment and read something like this, they would be so confused for so many reasons. Everything that silver's, everything that silver has going for it would be turned into a bad thing, right? Swaying the positives into negatives, and that's not okay with me, at least. So let's keep on going. So here's the next section where he talks about how gold is a better diversifier, gold prices are less volatile, gold is more liquid, and central banks prefer gold too. Now, some of these you could argue, right? Gold is a better diversifier. Well, I could also argue and say that silver is more affordable. Diversifier, what does he mean by that? Let's look. Silver prices, because of the metal's industrial use, have a stronger relationship to economic growth. Thus, silver prices generally tend to move into tandem with equities. In contrast, gold gets a push in times of economic distress when equities tend to suffer. Gold is thus a better diversification tool to add stability to the portfolio in these times of unpredictable equity markets. So if silver was tied to equity markets, this would make sense. But they don't. See, he goes on to say gold gets a push in times of economic distress when equities tend to suffer, but silver does too. Gold and silver are a monetary metal. They're a safe haven metal. And silver is actually more popular, especially as the demand rises, not only from 5G technology, from electric vehicles, and from solar panels. And not only that, also as silver price rises, everyday investors like you and I also get, there's more attention and attraction into the silver market because it is more affordable, right? And the only way that sentence would be true is if silver prices generally tended to move in tandem with equities. But that's not always the case, especially as the markets transform. I just made a video a couple days ago talking about how the markets they're not the same. The markets are ever changing, and you got to adjust and adapt with the times. So the next part, gold prices are less volatile. See, that is contradicting. Silver is so beneficial because it's more volatile, higher highs and lower lows. Silver is like gold on steroids. If gold's going to rise 15%, silver's going to rise 25, 30%. There's more opportunity with silver. That's why silver prices went higher than gold's during this whole bull run, right? So I don't understand why you would say that gold is less volatile, using that as an advantage, as a positive against silver. It doesn't make sense. So as the overall market for silver is smaller than gold, the likelihood of large price movements caused by buying or selling by a few market participants is more for silver. Silver is thus more speculative and risky, and prices tend to be more volatile than gold prices. But see, he's looking at this from a glass half empty more than a glass half full. This is exactly why silver is so explosive, because the demand for silver is incredible since it's used in so many things. And since it's a smaller market, it's like a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. When more people come into it, the price is going to be pushed even higher because it's a smaller market. Not because of speculation, and speculation would even make silver go higher as well, because the speculation is against the US dollar, not precious metals. Like, Jesus, like, come on, man. Like you have to be trying to is this like a I don't even know. This is crazy. It almost seems like it's rhetorical, right? It almost seems like it's sarcastic or something. But anyways, let's keep going. Now here is one part that I could agree with, right? He does say gold is more liquid. Liquidity is often overlooked consideration for investors, which eventually impact returns. See, gold is much larger liquid markets that is driven mostly of investment and jewelry demand, which is true. Gold is more for jewelry, coinage, bars. Silver is more for cell phones, laptops, stuff like that. But it's going to become more liquid as big business wants it. It's already liquid as the price rises, as it grabs attention. I mean, look how many people are digging through coins now trying to go coin roll hunting. It's not like it's going to be hard to sell your silver somewhere. You could sell it easily on eBay or even at your local coin shop. It's not like, silver is a hard thing to sell. So trying to compare it to gold as saying gold is more liquid, it really isn't a very good, it's not a good debate, because they both are liquid enough to where they both can be easily sold. And it's not like gold, you could sell gold easily and silver you couldn't sell or have a harder time selling. You could both easily sell them, or both metals. So there is no point he's making here by saying that. So here's one of his points, that central banks prefer gold too. Now, the only reason central banks prefer gold is because it still is part of a standard. Gold is almost still money. Silver isn't, right? And back when we had the gold and silver standard, they both were used as money. Now, if gold was to go back to a gold standard, we would have to use gold. Gold is the only thing that's holding America's value with an intrinsic purpose. Without gold, it would be worth nothing. Why would they hold silver when they both do the same thing? It would be extremely inconvenient, especially because you can hold, $10,000 or $100,000 of gold in a shoebox. You cannot do that with silver. So imagine how much space it would take up. It just wouldn't make sense. And plus, we're not using the central banks aren't using gold and silver as an investment, trying to put it in that way. They're looking at it more as a reserve currency, or to preserve their currency with something that actually has value. So that's also another argument that you can't say. Just because central banks have gold and not silver doesn't mean that gold's a better investment, right? So he goes on to say that gold is easier to invest in. Investors can choose to invest in a gold through financial forms such as gold ETFs, which you can also invest in a silver ETF. So how is that any different? In gold mutual funds, you could do that with silver, as well as digital gold and sovereign gold bonds. You can do that with silver. These are simple, convenient, efficient forms of investing in the metal. You can do all that with silver. How is doing that with gold any easier? You're just replacing the word. Come on, man. So Okay, he makes a point. Let's get in this. So, however, to be able to invest in the silver, investors have to choose between the physical form or the silver futures. Owning the physical metal is inefficient due to purity concern. What? Due to purity concerns and storage costs. What? Purity concerns? What is that supposed to mean? Silver's 3/9 fine silver or 4/9 fine silver. It's as simple as that. I don't understand what he means by that. Like fake silver, or like what is he trying to say? Right? That doesn't make sense. Storage costs, it's nothing crazy. If you're spending if you needed a large space to buy silver, you would already be having so much silver that storage would be irrelevant, because to have that much silver, you would have to be an extremely wealthy person to where storage really wouldn't matter, right? And that's also why I say invest in the gold a little bit, especially if you are a big spender, because gold can cut down your storage space or costs. So anyways, while silver futures are complex, risky instruments better suited for sophisticated investors. So he's saying the silver futures complex is way more complex. It's all the same thing. He just was switching words and he's not making any points here. So with all the uncertainty in today's global economy, it has never been more important to diversify and add the stability of gold in your investment strategy. So, can you see why this article is so bad? I hope you can see why there is no points actually made here. And he's leaving out so much context, right? He didn't mention anything that actually made sense. He didn't make any relevant points. That's what I'm saying. Gold can be a good investment to diversify. And like I said earlier, you can fit a lot of gold in a small area. You can't do that with silver. So diversification into gold can be beneficial, right? And it also has potential but regardless of that anyways. I made a video a couple days ago mentioning how I am going to start focusing on more gold next year. I'm not going to focus solely on gold, but I do need to balance my stack more with gold. But I am Silver Slayer. I'm not Gold Slayer, and silver is definitely a better, safer, and more, just a more beneficial investment in my opinion. So to see this is just it's disgusting, because if people read this, they would think the gold's a better investment, not even knowing they just got blatantly lied to, basically, essentially. So anyways, if you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least as entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Check out my merch. Links in the description. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.